Claire Bennett wiped down the marble bar for the third time that evening. Her mind elsewhere, she had been working at Luminaire, one of the city's most exclusive restaurants, for 6 months now. The tips were good, the clientele was wealthy, and the work kept her mind occupied, which was exactly what she needed after the year she had endured. Table 12 needs attention. Marcus? The floor manager said as he passed. Claire nodded and grabbed her tray. Table 12 was occupied by a single man, probably in his late 30s, wearing an expensive suit. He sat alone despite the restaurant being fully booked. Staring at an untouched glass of wine, Claire had noticed him when he arrived an hour ago. There was something about him that seemed familiar, though she could not place it. "Can I get you anything else, sir?" Claire asked as she approached. The man looked up, and Claire saw his eyes widen slightly. He stared at her for a moment, something unreadable crossing his face. "I am sorry," he said finally. "You just remind me of someone." "I get that a lot." "Apparently I have one of those faces," Claire smiled, trying to ease the awkwardness. "Can I bring you some food? The chef's special tonight is exceptional. Actually, I need to ask you something. And I know this is going to sound completely insane." Claire tensed slightly. Working in high-end restaurants, she had received plenty of inappropriate propositions from wealthy men. "What is it?" she asked carefully. The man seemed to sense her wariness. "It is not what you are thinking. I just need someone to attend an event with me tomorrow night. A business dinner. I will pay you $1,000 for 4 hours of your time. All you have to do is sit beside me and make polite conversation." Claire stared at him. "You want to pay me to be your date? I know how it sounds, but I promise this is completely professional. I just need someone to accompany me to this dinner. My business partners expect me to bring someone, and I do not have anyone in my life right now." "Why me?" The man hesitated. "Because you remind me of my late wife. And before you think that is creepy, let me explain. She passed away 2 years ago. Tomorrow would have been our 10th anniversary. I have this dinner I cannot get out of, and the thought of going alone on that day is more than I can handle." Claire saw the grief in his eyes and felt her defensiveness soften. She knew that look. She saw it in the mirror every morning. "I am sorry for your loss," she said quietly. "Thank you. I am Ethan, by the way. Ethan Morrison, Claire." "Claire Bennett." They looked at each other for a moment. "So will you consider it?" Ethan asked one evening. "Completely professional. I will have my driver pick you up, we will attend the dinner, and then he will take you home. You will be in public the entire time, around dozens of people. You will be perfectly safe." Claire thought about it. She thought about her student loans, her rent that was due, the medical bills from her mother's final months that still haunted her. $1,000 would solve so many immediate problems. But there was something else too, something in Ethan's eyes that mirrored her own pain. "Okay," she said, "but I need to know more details first. What kind of event is this?" Over the next 20 minutes, between serving other tables, Claire learned that Ethan was the CEO of Morrison Technologies. The dinner was with potential investors. All she had to do was wear something nice, smile, and make polite conversation. "I do not have anything nice enough for an event like that," Claire admitted. "I will take care of it. Tell me your size, and I will have something sent to your address." "You do not have to do that." "Yes, I do. This is a business arrangement, Claire. You are doing me a favor, and I am compensating you appropriately. That includes making sure you have the right attire." The next evening, Claire stood in her tiny apartment holding the most beautiful dress she had ever seen. It was elegant but understated, the kind of thing that whispered rather than shouted wealth when Ethan's driver arrived. Claire felt like she was stepping into someone else's life. The car was a luxury sedan with leather seats and a privacy screen. The driver was professional and polite, treating her with respect rather than judgment when they arrived at the venue. Ethan was waiting outside. He smiled when he saw her, and Claire noticed how the smile did not quite reach his eyes. "You look beautiful," he said. "Thank you. You look very handsome yourself inside." The event was exactly what Claire expected: elegant, refined, full of people discussing business and investments. Ethan introduced her simply as Claire. His date for the evening? No one asked. Questions? No one seemed to find it. Odd Claire played her part. Well, she smiled and made small talk. She laughed at appropriate moments. She asked intelligent questions about topics she knew nothing about, but throughout the evening, she watched Ethan watch the way he forced smiles, the way his hand would occasionally reach for his wedding ring, which was no longer there, the way his eyes would go distant when he thought no one was looking. During a brief moment alone, Claire touched his arm. "Are you okay?" Ethan looked at her with surprise. "I am fine." "Why do you ask?" "Because you look like you are drowning. And I know what that looks like because I have been drowning for a year." Ethan's professional mask slipped for just a moment. "You lost someone too. My mother. Cancer. She fought for 3 years, but she lost the battle last spring. So I know that look in your eyes. The one that says you are just going through the motions, waiting for the day when breathing does not hurt quite so much." Ethan was quiet for a moment. "Does that day ever come?" "I do not know yet, but I hope so. For both our sakes." After dinner, instead of going straight to the car, Ethan asked if they could walk. The event venue was in a historic district, beautiful old buildings lit by street lamps. "Thank you for tonight," Ethan said as they walked. "You did not just play a part. You actually saw me. That is rare. I think people who have lost someone recognize each other. We carry the same weight." They walked in silence for a while. "Can I tell you about her?" Ethan asked suddenly. "Your wife?" "Yes, her name was Caroline. We met in college. She was studying art, and I was studying business. Everyone said we were too different, but we fit perfectly. She was creative and spontaneous, and I was practical and planned. We balanced each other. She sounds wonderful. She was. We got married young, 25. Everyone said we should wait, but we could not imagine waiting. We had 7 perfect years, and then she got sick. Ovarian cancer. By the time they caught it, it was stage 4. She fought for 6 months, but it was not enough. Ethan's voice broke slightly. The last thing she said to me was, "Do not stop living." But I do not know how to do that. I work, I attend meetings, I fulfill obligations, but I am not living. I am just existing. Claire stopped walking and turned to face him. Your wife sounds like she was smart, and I think she knew you. She knew that without her, you would throw yourself into work and forget to be human. So she made you promise to live? I do not know how. Neither do I. But maybe we could figure it out together. The words surprised Claire as much as they seemed to surprise Ethan. What do you mean? I mean, maybe instead of one night we could try being friends. 2 people who understand grief and loss. No pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people trying to remember how to live. Ethan looked at her with something like hope in his eyes. I would like that. Over the next few weeks, Claire and Ethan developed an unlikely friendship. They met for coffee on Claire's days off. They went to art galleries, something Ethan had not done since Caroline died. They took walks in the park and talked about their lives slowly. Claire learned more about Ethan. He had built his company from the ground up, driven by the desire to make his parents proud. His father had died when Ethan was young, and his mother had worked 3 jobs to put him through college. Caroline had been the one who taught him that success meant nothing without happiness. She was right. Ethan said one afternoon as they sat by the lake, I achieved everything I wanted professionally. But without her, it feels meaningless. What would she want you to do? Claire asked. She would want me to find joy again, to build a life that matters, to fall in love again, probably, though I cannot imagine that happening. He looked at Claire. What about you? What would your mother want for you? She would want me to stop feeling guilty for being alive when she is not. She spent her last weeks telling me to live fully, to pursue my dreams, to not waste my life mourning her. What are your dreams? I wanted to be a chef. I went to culinary school, but when my mother got sick, I had to drop out to care for her. The medical bills buried me. Now I am just trying to survive. Ethan was quiet for a moment. What if you could go back? Finish your training? It is not that simple. I have debt. I have to work. What if someone paid off your debt, gave you the freedom to pursue what you actually want? Claire looked at him sharply. Ethan, no. I am not taking your money. Why not? I have more than I could ever spend. And it is just sitting there, not making anyone happy. Let me do this, Claire. Let me help you the way you have helped me. How have I helped you? You gave me a reason to leave my apartment. You reminded me that there is life beyond work and grief. You showed me that it is possible to laugh again. Let me return the favor. 3 months after that first paid date, Claire stood in her new apartment. It was small but nice, in a neighborhood she actually wanted to live. In her student loans were paid, off her mother's medical bills were cleared, and she had been accepted back into culinary school, all because Ethan had insisted on helping. This feels like too much, she had said when he first offered, it is not enough. Ethan had replied, Claire, you gave me something priceless. You gave me hope. Let me give you opportunity. Now, as Claire looked around her new home, she thought about how much had changed. She was not just surviving anymore. She was building toward something, and Ethan had become one of her closest friends 6 months after their first meeting. Ethan invited Claire to dinner, not a business dinner, but just the two of them at a quiet restaurant. I need to tell you something, Ethan said. As they ate, Claire felt her stomach tighten. What is it? I have been seeing a therapist, dealing with my grief, learning how to move forward, and she helped me realize something. What? That I have fallen in love with you. Claire set down her fork. Ethan, I know it is complicated. I know we started as a business arrangement, then became friends. I know you are not looking for a relationship, but I could not keep this to myself anymore. These past 6 months, getting to know you, watching you rebuild your life, seeing your strength and resilience, I have fallen completely in love with you. Claire felt tears welling up. I do not know what to say. You do not have to say anything. I just needed you to know. And I need you to know that whether you feel the same way or not, nothing changes. You are my friend first. That does not go away. Claire reached across the table and took his hand. Ethan, I have feelings for you too. I have been trying to deny them because I did not think I was ready. I did not think I deserved to be happy when my mother never got to see me succeed. What changed? You. You showed me that loving again does not mean forgetting. That moving forward does not mean leaving behind. Your wife would want you to be happy, and my mother would want me to be happy. Maybe it is time we gave ourselves permission. Ethan squeezed her hand. So what does this mean? It means let's try. Slowly, carefully. 2 people learning how to love again. 1 year after the fake date, Claire stood in the kitchen of her own restaurant. It was small, only 20 tables, but it was hers, the culmination of her dreams and Ethan's support. Ethan sat at the bar, watching her work with a smile on his face. You are staring, Claire said, laughing. I know. I cannot help it. You are beautiful when you are in your element. After the restaurant closed, they walked to the park where they had first talked about moving forward. Do you remember what you said to me that first night? Ethan asked. I said a lot of things. You said maybe we could figure out how to live again together. You were right. He pulled out a small box. Claire gasped. Ethan, Claire Bennett, you saved my life. Not by being a replacement for Caroline, but by showing me that it is possible to love again. That honoring the past does not mean giving up the future. Will you marry me? Claire was crying. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. As Ethan slipped the ring on her finger, Claire thought about that night a year ago. A desperate man asking a waitress to be his fake data transaction that became a friendship that became love. You know what is funny? Claire said, what? You paid me $1,000 to be your date for one night. And I gave you your life back for free, Ethan laughed. Best $1,000 I ever spent. Though technically, I think we both got the better deal. They stood in the park as the sun set. 2 people who had been drowning finding solid ground. Together. Sometimes healing does not happen alone. Sometimes grief needs company. And sometimes the person hired to play a part becomes the person who makes everything real. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales about grief, healing, and finding love after loss. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts on moving forward while honoring the past, or tell us about a time when something transactional became deeply meaningful. Your stories remind us that sometimes our darkest moments lead us to unexpected light.